So here's the problem. I'm in the middle of building out this cargo trailer into a camper, and it's time to add some exterior lighting. Now I bought these awesome, incredibly bright, 60-watt flush mount off-road lights to do the job. But in solving one problem, I created a much bigger one. Trailer walls are completely flat, which sounds easy, but these specific lights created two issues. First, they're too deep for the 1-inch thick walls. And second, even if they did fit, they would point straight out, lighting up a tree line that's 100 yards out instead of the ground right in front. So they need a precise 20-degree downward angle. Now I knew when I bought these lights that a custom part would be needed. And as a maker, my first thought wasn't to buy a solution, but to create one. So today, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to make a solution. I'm going to walk you through the entire process from the frustrating real-world headache to a final, tough-as-nails 3D printed part that solves it perfectly. We're going from a simple idea all the way to installation. So let's break this challenge down. We've got two main things to worry about: the light itself with all its specific dimensions, and the camper's flat side panel, which needs a custom housing. To design a part that perfectly bridges the gap between them, we need data. Good old-fashioned measurements. Now, you can go about this two ways. There's the super high-tech way, and then there's the way that works for just about 99% of projects. And for the high-tech route, I could grab my 3D scanner, and by taking a few passes, it builds a super accurate 3D model of any object. I will show you so you can see what this looks like. And this would be perfect for capturing the complex geometry of the light itself, giving us a digital light to build on in our design software. But for this project, it's a lot of flat surfaces and simple shapes and angles. And for this, we don't need a scanner, we just need these. A basic set of digital calipers. And you can get a good pair for less than 20 bucks. And I'm not kidding when I say they're the single most important tool you can own for functional 3D printing. I'm using them to measure everything: the outer dimensions of the light, the housing depth, the exact spacing of the mounting holes. For example, the bolts are 4mm, so I know right away I'll need to design a slightly larger hole to account for printing tolerances and inserts. These simple measurements are the foundation of a good design. And seriously, don't ever feel like you need an expensive scanner to get started. For most problems you want to solve, a cheap caliper is all you need to get from the real world into that digital one. Now, while we're on the subject of bringing ideas into the real world, today's sponsor excels at exactly that. PCBWay, they are my go-to for PCBs, CNC machining, and 3D printing, and they consistently deliver high-quality parts with fast turnaround. And that keeps my projects moving at the pace that I like to work. So check them out in the link in the description and let PCBWay help bring your next project to life. This right here is the part of the process that gives you that superpower. Anyone can hit print on a 3D printer. That's not hard. The real magic, the skill that lets you solve actual problems, computer-aided design, or CAD. And it can feel like the biggest hurdle for most people, but learning it is what lets you invent the exact part you need right when you need it. And today, we're gonna jump into Fusion 360, which is my go-to, and it's free for hobbyists, and it's insanely powerful. Let me know down below what your go-to CAD software is. I'm genuinely curious about my audience. So the first step, since the camper wall is flat, I don't need a scan of it. I can just start with a simple sketch for the base of the bracket. Next, I can drop in a digital replica of that light we are using from our measurements. This lets me create the flange it will mount to. And now for the most critical feature, the angle. I need that roughly 20-degree downward tilt, so I'll tilt that mounting plate downward, and then I'm gonna loft between the two flanges, and I'll add a shell modifier. This guarantees our light will point right where we want it. And by placing the digital light model inside my bracket design, I can check for any collisions. I want a snug fit, but not so tight that I have to fight it during assembly. We can even make a section view to see how much room is available all around for heat dissipation and that sort of thing. And just like that, our digital design is done. And with the design locked in, it's time to make it real. We'll export this model as an STL file and send it over to a 3D printer. But hold on, I'm not printing the final part just yet. The first step is always to print a cheap, fast prototype. For that, I'm going to just use a standard PLA. It's very common, it's cheap, and it's probably the easiest material to print with. My goal here is not to make a part I can use forever, it's just to see if the design will actually work in the real world. And a few hours later, the print is done, and now the moment of truth. Let's check the fit. The base, it sits perfectly flush against a flat surface, which will be our camper wall. The mounting holes line up perfectly, and the light, well, it fits okay, but the beam, I think I want it down just a little bit more. So I'm gonna add another 5 degrees of rotation to the bracket to drop that light down. Now, this is not a failure, this is kind of the most important step of the entire prototype process. Getting the design perfect on the first try, it's kind of like a unicorn sighting, and this is why we make prototypes. So it's a quick trip back to Fusion 360. I will tweak the angle with the feature timeline, and off we go. Now we're ready for the main event. With our design dialed in, it's time to print that final functional part. And for this, we absolutely cannot use that same PLA material. PLA is amazing for prototypes and little things around the house, but it would be a complete disaster in this sort of application. It's brittle, it gets soft, it warps in the summer heat, and it has terrible UV resistance. Left out in the sun, it would probably get fragile and crumble apart in a single season or less. So for a part that has to survive years of sun, rain, vibration, and the heat on the side of a camper, we need an engineering grade material. And my choice is ASA carbon fiber. This really long name right here on the screen that I'm not going to try to pronounce, and we're going to reinforce it with chopped carbon fiber. Now ASA is a lot like ABS, but it has one huge advantage. It's naturally UV stable, and it's the same kind of plastic you find in car grills and mirror housings, and the added carbon fiber gives it a little bit of extra stiffness and strength, and it leaves this beautiful black finish that hides layer lines. Now this material is a bit more demanding. It needs a special hardened nozzle and a heated enclosure to print well. After another print cycle, our final bracket is done, and the difference is night and day. Where the PLA prototype, it kind of feels cheap and light, this ASA carbon fiber part feels incredibly rigid, solid, and it's ready to go to work. And this is the moment it all comes together. We're back at the camper with our final part in hand. First, I'll use the bracket itself as a template to mark and drill the holes in the camper wall with a third center hole for wiring, measuring for levelness. 2 self-tapping screws mount the housing, and I'll feed the wires through the rubber grommet into the inside of the trailer. Now for the light. It slides right into the housing, and then we tighten the screws into the thread inserts, squishing the gasket, a perfect secure fit. It sits perfectly flush against the wall, and the 25-degree angle is exactly what I wanted. It's rock solid, and honestly, it looks like it came from the factory with this. But the real test happens after dark. Look at that. That is the solution. A huge, clean, perfectly aimed flood of light, exactly where I need it. Going from no light at all to this is just incredible. We encountered a real-world problem that required a custom part, and by using a couple of simple tools and the power of design, we created a custom, durable part that solved it completely. So that's the whole journey. From an initial problem to a finished, functional part. We took some measurements, we turned those numbers into a digital design. We prototyped and tweaked it. We picked the right material for the job to create a permanent solution. And the thing to remember here isn't about the printer itself. The printer was just a tool. The real power came from being able to design what was needed to see a problem and invent a solution from scratch. And this whole process is something that anyone can learn. You don't need a giant workshop. You don't need a bunch of expensive gear to start solving your own real-world problems. All it takes is a desire to learn and a bit of creativity. Now, if this video helped you out or maybe sparked an idea for a project of your own, think about subscribing. I'm also genuinely curious, so let me know down in those comments, what problem are you going to solve with 3D printing? What problem have you solved with 3D printing? And on that, thanks for watching.